Have you ever felt like your own emotions were sabotaging your ability to succeed? Not because you lacked strategy, not because you didn't know what to say, but because in the heat of the moment, your mind turned against you. Your heart was racing before the meeting even started. You felt your voice tremble after hearing the first objection. You tried to look calm on the outside, but inside, everything was collapsing. This isn't just about being a better negotiator. It's about becoming unshakable. It's about mastering the one battlefield that truly matters, the one inside your own mind. Welcome to the Stoic Lighthouse, your compass for clarity, control, and inner strength in a chaotic world. And if you believe that self-mastery is more powerful than shallow tactics, hit that like button and subscribe now. That simple action helps us bring this ancient wisdom to more people like you, people who are ready to lead from within. Because today, I'm going to expose the 5 emotional traps that silently kill your ability to close deals, build trust, and lead with impact. These are patterns that cost you money, relationships, and peace, and most of the time, you don't even notice them. And no, this isn't about 10x scripts or psychological hacks. This is about real power. The kind of power taught by men who led empires, endured exile, and faced death with serenity. Men like Marcus, the Roman emperor who journaled his way to sanity during war. Like Epictetus, who rose from slavery to become one of the most respected teachers of character in history. And like modern thinkers such as Ryan Holiday, William B. Irvine, and Massimo Pigliucci, who revived these lessons for today's battlefield, the boardroom, the pitch, the negotiation table. Massimo Pigliucci wrote, "Self-control is not about repression. It's about creating space between stimulus and response, and choosing wisely." Their message is simple: you cannot control outcomes, but you can control yourself. And when you do that, you change the game. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you won't just be negotiating better, you'll be thinking clearer, responding calmer, leading smarter, and most importantly, you'll be freer. Number 1, reacting on impulse. Picture this. A seasoned professional walks into a high-stakes negotiation. He knows the product inside and out. He's anticipated objections, practiced his responses, visualized success. Everything seems aligned until the client interrupts him sharply, even dismissively. In a flash, the rep reacts, not with strategy, but with emotion. He snaps back, defensive. His tone shifts, his posture tightens, and just like that, the deal is gone. Not because he lacked skill, but because he lost control. This is the cost of emotional impulsiveness. One moment, one reflex, one uncontrolled reaction, and everything you prepared collapses. The client doesn't just walk away from the offer, they walk away from you. Epictetus warned, "It is not the events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them." The modern mind often believes that mastery lies in doing more, but the Stoics teach the opposite. Real power lies in restraint, in pausing, in choosing your response rather than serving your instincts. The impulsive mind confuses urgency with action. But when you react without reflection, you become easy to manipulate. You hand over the steering wheel of your behavior to the person across the table, whether they mean to take it or not. Marcus wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And here's the truth. In negotiations, the one who loses composure first loses. Chrysippus, the great systematizer of Stoic logic, believed that reason must always lead emotion. That logic isn't cold, it's stabilizing, like a keel beneath a ship. You don't steer better in a storm by panicking, you steer by holding firm. William B. Irvine explains, "Anger is not triggered by the world, it's triggered by the interpretation we choose to apply to it." So the Stoic approach is not to suppress emotion, it's to step back from it, to create space between stimulus and response, to breathe before reacting, to observe before deciding. In modern psychology, this is called cognitive distancing. In ancient Stoicism, it's called wisdom. This is why modern leaders, Navy SEALs like Jocko Willink, and high-performance entrepreneurs train what they call the tactical pause, a split second of reflection before action. It's not hesitation, it's dominance over the moment. In your next meeting, that pause could be the difference between closing a deal and sabotaging it. It could protect your reputation. It could show the other person that you're not just in control of the facts, you're in control of yourself. Socrates, centuries before the rise of Stoicism, was known for standing silent in the face of provocation. Not because he lacked a response, but because he had nothing to prove. That's the posture of a free man, of a mind that refuses to be dragged into war by wounded pride. Ryan Holiday puts it plainly: the ego wants to react, wisdom wants to wait. This is the mindset of a modern Stoic, not to be passive, but to be powerful through poise. So next time someone challenges you, don't flinch. Breathe, watch, own the silence, and speak only when you choose to, not when you're cornered by your emotions. That's not just smart negotiation, that's real leadership. Number 2, fear of rejection. Let's be honest, rejection stings, but the real damage? It happens before the rejection. It's in the hesitation to pitch an idea, in the draft that stays in your inbox, in the call you postpone because they're probably not ready. It's not caution, it's fear wearing a suit. Fear of rejection is one of the most invisible killers of potential. It paralyzes action, suffocates initiative, and builds a glass wall between you and the success you're chasing. And the worst part? You'll call it timing or strategy or being careful, but deep down it's fear whispering, "What if they say no?" Seneca warned, it is part of the cure to wish to be cured. In other words, nothing changes until you face what you fear. In business, in relationships, in life, if you avoid the discomfort of rejection, you avoid the transformation it can create. You cannot grow if you only move where it's safe. The Stoics were obsessed with one question: what truly lies within your control? Because fear is usually born when we confuse what we can influence with what we can't. Epictetus reminded us, you become invincible when you stop fighting battles that don't belong to you. You can't control whether the client says yes. You can control the clarity of your pitch, the confidence in your voice, the composure in your delivery. You can't control their hesitation, but you can refuse to let it become your excuse. Massimo Pigliucci teaches, freedom is knowing what's up to you and acting accordingly. When you anchor your sense of worth to the outcome of a pitch, you hand your identity to someone else. And nothing makes you more vulnerable, because every no feels like a judgment, every delay feels like failure, every silence becomes a threat. But that's not Stoicism, that's surrender. The Stoic approach is simple: do your part with excellence and let go of the rest. Rejection doesn't mean you're wrong. It means the match wasn't right, the moment wasn't ripe, or maybe the other person simply couldn't see what you were offering. That's their lens, not your limit. Heraclitus, long before the Stoics formalized their school, believed a man's character is his fate. And that's what this is about: character. The courage to offer value even if it's declined. The discipline to keep showing up even when doors close. The strength to measure success not by applause, but by authenticity. So next time you're tempted to delay the call, soften the pitch, or shrink your value to avoid a no, ask yourself, am I protecting my ego or practicing my philosophy? Rejection isn't personal, it's feedback. And to the Stoic, feedback is fuel. Because the real sale isn't the product. It's the belief in yourself and your refusal to let fear drive the conversation. Number 3, ego inflated. There's a trap that even the most experienced professionals fall into. It's not incompetence, it's overconfidence. You walk into the room certain you're the smartest one there. You interrupt, correct, dominate, not to connect, but to control. You miss subtle cues. You dismiss objections too quickly. And at the end of the meeting, no deal. But you walk out feeling like you won because you outtalked them. That's not confidence. That's ego in disguise. Ryan Holiday explains it clearly. The ego is that voice in your head that distorts reality, blocks learning, and prevents growth. To the Stoics, the ego wasn't just a flaw, it was an enemy, internal, seductive, and dangerous. It whispers, "You already know this." And in that moment, you stop listening, you stop observing, you stop learning. Seneca reminded us, being wise does not mean refusing to listen. In negotiations, listening is power, but the ego doesn't listen. It waits for its turn to talk, and often beneath that ego, insecurity, the inflated posture, the dominant voice, the endless facts. They're armor built to hide the fear of being wrong, the fear of being vulnerable, the fear of not being enough without the performance. Chrysippus taught that the true sage is the one who knows the limits of his own knowledge, and because of that, he listens more than he speaks. In business, this becomes a tactical advantage, strategic humility. You can be sharp, experienced, persuasive, and still curious. You can be confident in your offer, but open to what the other side needs. Because when you stop listening, you stop solving. And when you stop solving, you stop selling. Zeno of Citium, founder of Stoicism, emphasized the balance between speaking and silence. He believed that self-mastery begins with mastering our internal dialogue. And that's only possible when the ego quiets down. Michel de Montaigne, deeply influenced by Stoicism, put it this way: the greatest obstacle to discovery is not ignorance, it's the illusion of knowledge. You don't need to dominate to persuade. You don't need to talk over someone to lead. A calm presence, a sharp ear, and a focused mind. That's real authority, because clients can feel it. They know when you're listening to understand, and when you're just waiting to sound smart. They know when your goal is to serve or to win a debate. The Stoic negotiator doesn't seek to impress, he seeks to connect. And that connection, that's what closes the deal. So next time your instinct says, prove yourself, pause. Ask, am I speaking to serve or to feed my ego? Because in the end, it's not the loudest voice that wins, it's the clearest one. Number 4, procrastination by perfectionism. You stare at the email one more time. You revise the proposal for the 4th time this week. You tell yourself it's not ready yet. You just want it to be perfect. But deep down, you're not polishing, you're postponing. And what looks like discipline is actually disguised fear. This is the most deceptive kind of procrastination, the kind that feels productive. You're busy, you're tweaking, you're optimizing, but you're not executing. You're not moving forward. You're stuck in the illusion of readiness. Epictetus emphasized, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. The perfectionist loves planning but resists action. And while you obsess over the details, someone less prepared is out there, closing deals, making mistakes, and learning in real time. Marcus reminded us, the most irrecoverable loss is the loss of time. Time doesn't reward the flawless, it rewards the brave. Perfectionism is often rooted in the fear of being judged, the need to be uncriticizable before taking a step. But here's what the Stoics knew. Criticism isn't the enemy, it's the path. Heraclitus, the pre-Socratic thinker who laid the groundwork for Stoic reasoning, said, nothing endures but change. So if change is constant, waiting for stability to act is an illusion. There is no perfect moment. There is only the courage to begin and the discipline to improve along the way. Ryan Holiday adds, progress requires the courage to start before you're ready. The Stoic understands that wisdom is forged in action. You don't become excellent then act. You act and excellence emerges in the fire of repetition. This is where modern thinkers like Pierre Hadot help us reconnect with the original purpose of philosophy, not as abstract theory, but as a daily, lived discipline. To live stoically is not to wait for certainty. It's to move in alignment with nature, which is always in motion. Cleanthes, one of the early architects of Stoic ethics, believed that we must live in harmony with reality, not our projections of it. And reality doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards action aligned with reason and purpose. So if you've been holding back that pitch, delaying that email, over-preparing that deck, ask yourself, is this pursuit of perfect helping me, or is it protecting me from discomfort? Because here's the truth, the proposal you deliver with 90% polish and 100% courage will outperform the masterpiece that never leaves your desk. The Stoic path is not perfection, it's progress with integrity, so stop hiding behind almost ready. Step into the arena, deliver, adapt, grow. The world doesn't need your flawless plan, it needs your bold presence. Number 5, taking things personally. You send the proposal, the client declines, and instantly a voice whispers, "They didn't like me." Another one adds, "I should have done more." And a third, darker one, "Maybe I'm just not good enough." This is one of the most toxic emotional patterns in business, turning professional outcomes into personal wounds. You're not just interpreting the no as a rejection of your offer, you're hearing it as a rejection of you, of your competence, your value, your worth. Epictetus reminded us, remember, it is not the person who insults you, but your interpretation of their actions that wounds you. That's the core of Stoic resilience, the ability to separate what happened from what it means. Not every critique is an attack. Not every objection is disrespect. Not every delay is disrespect. And not every no is about you. Often the client is overwhelmed, or hesitant, or broke, or dealing with internal chaos you'll never see. But when you take it personally, you stop listening, you stop understanding, you stop being useful, and start being reactive. Musonius Rufus, mentor of Epictetus, taught that virtue isn't proven when things are easy. It's proven when we are tested and still maintain composure. In negotiations, when you misinterpret rejection as personal failure, you abandon your clarity. You switch from service to self-protection, from empathy to ego. And that shift, it kills connection. Donald Robertson, a bridge between ancient Stoicism and modern psychology, explains, emotional control begins with distinguishing between your essential self and external judgments. The client's opinion isn't your truth. It's their perspective, shaped by their moment. Your job isn't to be validated. It's to bring value, regardless of response. Chrysippus taught that reason should govern emotion. That means using logic not to suppress feelings, but to guide them. So when rejection hits, the Stoic doesn't collapse. He evaluates, he adapts, he refines, but never self-destructs. Marcus wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. You are not your close rate. You are not your quarterly numbers. You are not a scoreboard. You are the one who shows up, fully, honestly, and with integrity. And if the answer is no, you thank them, you reflect, and you move forward, untouched at your core. That's not detachment, that's strength. Because the goal isn't to be bulletproof, it's to be centered, unshaken by praise or rejection. The Stoic negotiator listens without absorbing, stands firm without becoming hard, and knows that value doesn't need to be proven, only offered. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of the pack. Because most people don't want to face their inner blocks. They don't want to admit that their biggest obstacles aren't their competitors or the market or the economy. They're inside: impulse, fear, pride, perfectionism, fragile ego. These emotional traps are silent killers. They drain your clarity, they blur your judgment, and they sabotage your deals before they ever begin. But today, you've gained something most people never even look for. A Stoic blueprint to hold the line under pressure, to stay grounded in chaos, to lead, negotiate, and act from your strongest self. Marcus wrote, "The soul becomes invincible when it refuses to be ruled by fear, vanity, or complaint." That's what Stoicism gives you. Not just an edge, a foundation. Because when you master your emotions, you no longer need the approval of others to feel powerful. You carry your power with you. Ryan Holiday reminds us, ego screams, wisdom whispers. And you're learning to hear that whisper, to see that every critique is an opportunity. Every no is a mirror. Every mistake is a moment to grow into who you're meant to be. Epictetus taught, "Don't ask that things happen as you wish. Wish for them to happen as they do, and you'll find peace." So now I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 emotional traps have you seen in your own routine? And more importantly, which Stoic lesson are you going to put into practice starting today? Drop your answer in the comments. You might inspire someone who's fighting the same internal battle right now. If this video brought you clarity, strength, or even just a pause for reflection, hit that like button. Share this with a friend who's negotiating under pressure or building a career while wrestling with doubt. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a tool that sharpens your inner game. And here's what's coming next on the Stoic Lighthouse. Revealed, the ancient Stoic technique elite speakers used to eliminate stage fear in minutes. A battle-tested strategy that public figures, top entrepreneurs, and high-stakes presenters have used, drawn straight from the minds of ancient philosophers, adapted for modern performance. You don't want to miss it. Until then, remember, you don't need a perfect pitch. You need a steady mind, and that, my friend, is a power no one can take from you. Until next time.